people assume you cannot be self-employed in Japan, which obviously you can because I'm doing that legally.
Welcome to the Melanated Files. In this series, we highlight and share the stories of black people from across the globe. Remember to subscribe to this channel for weekly videos and also follow us on social media for regular updates. Let's get into the interview. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Melanated Files. My name is Ranzo and I'm your host, and today we're joined by Champayne Oden. She is a published author. Listen, she has over 30 books. I couldn't believe it myself. And she's also a private English teacher in Japan as well as other countries as well. We are going to get into her story right now. So Champayne, thank you so much for having us.
No worries.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, a little bit. Okay, great. Well, so my name is Champayne. That is my birth name. It's on my birth certificate because people always ask me. But I'm from Akron, Ohio in the US. So shout out to LeBron James. And I've been overseas now since I was 21, 23. And I've been in Japan for 11 years and 8 months now. So going on 12 years. And before this, I was in London for 4 years. I was completing my master's degree and working. And then before that, I was in China for 6 months. And before that, I was in the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's like global, like what, globe trotting, like hopping all over the place, right?
Yes.
And you're actually almost finishing your PhD right now as well.
Yes, that's correct.
Right?
I'm doing
8 years in the
chapter.
making.
Yes,
Wow.
chapter 4 and 5 is done, but my professor is really, she is so challenging me right now, which is great. I mean, that's what it's about. So I'm almost finished. I'll be walking next year.
Okay,
next
the
year,
final leg, right? So guys, write something in the comments to cheer her on. Like, she's been doing it for a while. Give her some strength, right?
Yes, I need strength.
So tell me now, right? We're gonna get into your story. Very interesting story, by the way, right? So you taught English at an institution first, and then now you're on your own. So you're independent. You are self-employed.
Yes, that's
which
correct.
is something that a lot of people are striving for.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So tell me about your journey. Why Japan, and how did you get into English teaching?
Okay, well, so why Japan? So before, did I say I was in China too?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay, I forget, sorry. All right, so before I was living in Japan, I was living in China for 6 months. And while I was in China, for some reason, I thought China and Japan were like similar, but they are totally not similar, like nothing at all. Like the people, customs, country, everything is different. So after I lived in China, then I went to live in London, and I was there for 4 years. And then I was like, okay, what am I gonna do next? And then I was like, oh, teach English, because I keep hearing it everywhere. So I was like, okay, so let me go to Japan to teach English. And here we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so almost a dozen years later, you're still in Japan. So tell me about your experience teaching English within the school system here in Japan.
Oh, that's a very good question. So like you mentioned before, I'm doing my PhD in education. So I realized there's two industries in Japan. There's the public industry where everyone goes for free. And then there's the second industry where people pay.
Okay.
Because like doing my research, I learned that after World War II, the Japanese government wanted to cram, information to children's brains as much as they could, which is great, but it kind of overwhelmed the kids. So they kind of eased up on that. And I talk about that in my dissertation, which will be published, I guess, next year. But because Japanese parents love, and not just Japanese parents, I would say Chinese parents, Korean parents, because I teach those kids as well, they love additional studies. I don't want to say the government, because it wasn't the government, let's say institutions saw this as a journey, and they were like, okay, we can make money by having a private English, or not English, just a private subject industry where people can pay us to learn additionally. Yeah, so I've worked in both of those. But I started off in the second industry because I was a dispatch teacher, AOT, for Interact company. And I love Interact. I think they're a great company. They're a great starter company. So I was working for them for 2 years as an AOT, which is an assistant English or language teacher. And I was at a junior high school and an elementary school. And then I kind of got tired of that job after 2 years, and I needed to up my game. So I applied for an English immersion kindergarten in my town that I was living in. I got that job, was there for 2 years. And then I got another job to be an oral communication teacher up in Ibaraki. So I went there. I ended up quitting that job because the kids really made me really mad. And then I jumped into the fire and I worked for a non-Japanese but Asian international school. And then I ended up having to do some legal stuff against them because they tried to fire me. And then I jumped into a bigger fire and I ended up working for a Chinese, a Chinese owner at another international school. And then at that point, I was just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't deal with racism from Japanese, but from like that Chinese lady and the other non-Japanese Asians. I was like, I can't do this, I'm done. So my immigration lawyer, she suggested I become self-employed, and that's what brought me here.
Okay.
Sorry, that was kind of long.
No, it's not. So we're gonna dive a little bit deeper.
Yes.
Right, because you've told me the backstory to some of these experiences. So let's go a little bit deeper. But before that, how long were you teaching within the system before you went off on your own?
Well, I would say I've been on my own for 3 years and 8 months now. Okay. So almost 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So before that, so 8 years. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you told me about these instances with some of the schools you worked for. So we're gonna go a bit deeper.
Okay.
So let's talk about your Black experience in Japan teaching.
Yes.
And I think you can divulge more about your experience at both schools, right?
Yes.
And the reason why you had to take legal actions, the outcome of that, and what you'd encourage other people to do if they find themselves in similar predicaments.
Right. So which question is first?
Okay, the first one,
sorry.
It's okay. The first one is, what has your Black experience been like teaching in these schools?
Oh, I absolutely love being Black in Japan. And let me just back up a little bit before I even talk about Japan. Being Black American outside of America, we have privileges. I know a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? You're Black. Yes, I do have privileges because I'm American Black. So ever since I left America when I was 21, 23, I've gotten scholarships to go to, I got a scholarship to go to university because I'm a sprinter, retired obviously now. But I got a scholarship to go to China, to go to London, to go to Cuba. And, I've gotten jobs easily. And this is after I left the States to live in London, to live in Japan, to live in China. So everything has been so easy for me because I am Black American and we do have privileges. And I want to encourage all Black Americans to leave the state if you feel that you don't want to deal with racism. The world is bigger than Ohio. It's bigger than the United States. So yeah, so that's my, Black American experience outside of America. But before Japan, now going to Japan, yeah, I feel like I don't deal with racism, except for from that Chinese lady who I sued, and then from the non-Japanese Asian people whose school I was at. But
so
other than that,
non-Japanese Asians. You
yes,
want to say?
But I'm gonna write a book about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that book, guys, this book is gonna be on fire. But I have to do something. I got to do something this year, and then I'll publish it next year. Okay. Yeah, but don't worry, I'm gonna go in deep. Okay,
so tell me about the one that you can discuss right now. So what happened? And why did you have to sue them? And what was the process like?
So with my last job, that would be the Chinese lady. I was working at an international school. And she had hired me, let's say a 3-month contract for the summer, which is cool because the other school, which was the non-Japanese Asian people, I had to leave from there. And no, but I got the union on now. But anyway, so I was working for the Chinese lady for 3 months, and then we did I think a 6 or 8 month contract for the year. So let's say I started in August, and then she tried to fire me in December, and she was like, and guys, you're gonna love this. She was like, oh, well, I have another teacher coming in. And she sounds like this too. I have another teacher coming in, and there's nothing illegal going on here. She's coming back. And I was like, okay, I understand she's coming back, but why did you hire me for 8 months? You could have just hired me for 3 months. And at least I would have been honest. I wouldn't have a problem with that. So she really underestimated me, which a lot of people tend to do. And I don't know why, because I'm an athlete. I'm very, very competitive, and I take notes intensively. So I got a lawyer, sued her. Dude, she couldn't even look me in the eyes. I mean, she was hurt because I think, especially she's Chinese too, I think sometimes, and I don't want to say all Chinese people, I'm just going to say this particular Chinese woman thought that maybe because I'm Black, even though I'm Black American, that she's smarter than me and she can trick me. But no, she had to break bread. She had to pay me because she was in the wrong. So there you go.
Okay, so what would you advise other people? Because it's funny because now there are different things that people face in different countries.
Yes.
Within Asia, Black people, right?
Yes.
And some of them feel like they don't have any power when injustice has been met out to them.
Right.
So they feel paralyzed. And I interviewed a guy and he said, well, what can you do? if
Where?
something
In-
happens.
in
Not in
Japan.
Japan.
Oh, okay.
But he's like, what can you do? And some people even here as well feel powerless if someone did something to you that was wrong.
Right.
Within maybe your place of employment.
Oh, right, right.
Talk to them. What can they do?
Well, guys, when I was suing, and I've sued multiple people in Japan, I didn't really have the iPhone. It wasn't like up to date like that. But I did have emails. I had transcripts. I had my notes because I'm an intensive note taker. So as long as you have the evidence, and I'm Americans, you know what to do. Yeah, as long as you have the evidence, that's all you need. But now that they have cell phones and all that, you're good to go. You're golden. So you have to have evidence to prove whatever has happened to you. And just another thing, remember, guys, you don't have to sue somebody in their country. You can go to the international court and sue people.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not just country bound, because I actually threatened not the Chinese lady, but the before people. I said, I'll take you to the international court. I said, we ain't even got to go to Japan or America. I will sue you internationally. And they were like, oh. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you got the right one this time. So
So you're saying you know your rights, right?
I know my rights.
So
yes.
you're saying they need evidence,
Yes,
right,
evidence.
to support their case,
Right.
And then they need to find
Find a
legal
lawyer.
representation.
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
Okay.
And like I said, if you can't sue them in that country, you can take them to the international court. That's it.
And you've won all the cases that
I've won cases in Japan, London, and America. I've never lost a case yet.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I know I said I have this Black American privilege, but I'm still Black. So they're probably, oh, she's not going to do anything wrong. I'm competitive. I had to take action against them, and I was right, and I won.
Yeah, so the important thing is something was done that was wrong.
Right.
And then there are consequences, of
Yes.
course. And a lot of people usually abuse it. If you should talk about even the States, for instance,
Yes.
there are things that we see through media that we can see the injustice.
Yes. Yes.
And nothing happens to the perpetrator. So justice is of paramount importance, I believe. So if someone does that, then of course the right course of action we're taking. So that's good. So those of you guys who are watching, you're not powerless.
No, you're not. You're
Champayne
not.
did it. If someone
Many times in different countries, okay?
So if someone is in an abusive relationship in their place of employment, something can be done.
You guys can
as she
email
said.
me. Just email me and I'll guide you.
Yeah, I think she said she has a lawyer as well. That
I have
is really
two
good.
lawyers. I have two.
Okay. So talk to me about your overall experience as a Black woman in Japan.
In Japan. Well, like, I know, like, my thing is, like, I know I'm a girl, I get that, but I don't really, I mean, I identify as a woman, but I'm Black first. So I always try to put the Black out there first, because that's what I'm identified as first. She's a Black baby, you know, when you come out. But as a woman, as a Black American woman here, like, I absolutely love it. Like, I get, like, guys, you don't understand, like, I am so dope on getting opportunities, and I get jobs very easily. Well, in the past, because now I'm self-employed, but now I'm finding my own opportunities to do boot camps that I get paid directly for in Japan. But I just feel like being a Black American woman here, you have a lot of power.
So overall, your
Yes,
experience
yes.
has been positive.
Right.
Apart from those maybe 2, 3, 4 instances where
Yeah,
with the
right.
schools,
And it's
right?
like 3 or 4. And like one of them was from a Chinese person. So that doesn't represent racism in Japan. So yeah.
Okay.
But I absolutely love it here.
Is there one thing that has sort of grown out of your experience for these past dozen years to like 12 years?
Right, right.
Is there one thing that you learned as a long-term resident in Japan that you think someone that's a short-termer wouldn't understand just yet?
Yes, there is one. Well, there's many things, but the main thing is that if you're working for somebody else, there's a concept called minasan gambaru. Minasan means everyone, people, and gambaru means good luck. So it's like minasan gambaru means everybody good luck. So it's not about you. It's about the group. And most of us come in employed. So it's teamwork. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm coming in at 9 and I'm leaving at 5 and that's it. No, it doesn't work like that in Japan. So you're gonna have to come in early, stay late, and work as a team. And that was really hard for me because I'm American and we don't do that at home as much. We're very individual, we're individuals. So, but by year 6, it finally clicked in my brain and then everything went smooth. I finally changed my mindset after 6 years. That was funny.
So what was some of the benefits of changing that?
Yeah, I wasn't
mindset?
stressed anymore. I wasn't angry anymore. And I just went with the flow. I think when you come to Japan is like a boat and you have to rock, like it rocks you and you have to go with it. If you try to go
Go with
against
the
it,
flow.
yeah, you're gonna just be, I don't know, hitting stuff.
Friction, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so tell me about so back to private English teaching.
Yes.
Tell me about the segue. How did you move from being employed by other people
Yes.
to being self-employed? What was the process like? Tell
Oh,
me about the
very good
transition.
question. So guys, first of all, I wrote about that in this book. This is on Amazon. And I have to look at the book because I kind of forget what I wrote. That's why I write so much, because I want it out of my head. But to answer your question, this is a step-by-step guide, right? I did not have this. So I had to, it took me 8 months for me to get the process down. But the first thing I had to do was go to my lawyer and change my visa. Once I have the humanity visa, so anyone who's working as a dispatch teacher or a university teacher, you can do this job right now. You can become self-employed right now. Of course, they're not gonna tell you that. But once I got my visa changed, then I went to some sites. Sorry, I forgot the sites. Just a moment. Yeah, so for example, hellosensei.com, find native sensei.com, findmyfavoriteteacher.com, enjoy lesson, egopass.com. So I went to those sites, created profiles, and I started recruiting students, right?
Okay.
Now, of course, this is a slow process, so it's gonna go like this. So until you're able to get a base of, let's say, 30 to 40 students, in the meantime, while you're building, you have to work for other people.
Okay.
So that means you're working part-time at English schools.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
So
had
that's
to
when
do
you
that.
have the new visa. When you have the
Yes.
new visa, you're doing this.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. That is correct.
Okay.
So
you don't start until you get the new visa. You don't
yeah,
begin
no.
the okay.
Yeah,
So afterwards,
visa.
okay.
Yeah,
got it.
visa first. Yeah. You don't want to get a what is it? Deported from
Okay.
Japan. Yeah, I'm American. I want to follow the rules, and we know the law, so you have to do everything by your visa. Yeah. So once the visa is granted, then so this is how it went. Like I was working more for other people for 8 months, and then after the 8 months, I was able to grow my students where I could, have my own students and work for other people less.
Okay.
But it took me 8 months to figure it out. But once I got the process down, which is in this book, I'm so happy for you guys. Then
the
I
links
was
will
able
be down
to.
below, guys.
Yeah.
Like you can find all of Champayne stuff down below.
Yeah. Yep. And there you go. And the catch is not getting the student; it's maintaining the student. I've
Okay.
had students for, I think I don't want to say her name. Let's call her Michiko. I've had her for
That's a fictitious
almost 3 years. Yeah, almost. She's my longest lasting student, and she's in Canada right now. And I'm actually teaching her tomorrow, so I'm super, super excited for her. So I've been able to grow with her. I've been able to help her go to Canada. Her husband is there, her child is there. So I'm really excited about that.
Okay. So you said so your lawyer helped you with the process
Yes.
of making the transition.
Yes.
Right. So tell me about some pros and cons of being self-employed versus being employed by someone else within Japan.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna start with the negatives.
Okay, no
I can
problem.
tell you the negatives of being self-employed. No, I'm sorry with the positive. Okay, sorry. Positive of being self-employed is that number one, you work less. Once you get your clientele built, okay, so once you have your 30 plus students, you work less. And what I mean by that, like if you're working at a school, at a gakko, you're working from 9 to 5, but really it's like really 8 to 8 because that's the Japanese way. When you're self-employed like myself, I work maybe 3 hours, 4 hours a day, and that's like 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour teaching one-on-one lessons, maybe. So I would work. No, I'm getting off topic. I'm sorry. So I work 3 or 4 hours a day.
Okay.
So that means I can control my own schedule. So that's one positive. Another positive is that because I have more time on my hands, I'm able to focus on my dissertation. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been, summa cum laude for a while now, but I feel like I've been able to do even better in my grades because I have more time to focus on my studies.
Okay.
Another positive is that you're able to create online courses. So after you have the knowledge, I wrote the book, obviously, and then I wrote the workbook that goes with the book. And then now I have an online course that goes with the books. From the online course, you can also do one-on-one teaching, so one-on-one coaching to teach other teachers how to become self-employed teachers. So it's like, you can't just do the one-on-one. No, you need to grow. You need to have more products. So having time with your own schedule allows you to really expand your margin. you are able to have more target markets, and you're able to have more passive income because you have these online courses.
Multiple streams.
Yeah, multiple screens, exactly what I was getting to, multiple screens. And also I'm able to go to Africa more because I have my own schedule, and I'm a teacher, so I teach when I go to Africa too. So I make the profit there, I make the profit in Japan, so I'm always bringing money in. So I'm super excited about that.
So what about some of the cons?
Oh, the cons, okay. So the cons are, okay, so guys, this is the circle of life. You get, and it goes away. You get, and it goes away. That's just life anyways. So you have to be able to predict when you're not gonna get money.
So a slow period.
Yes, exactly. Which is usually for me, it could be August or July, but I work so much during the year that I know how to budget my money and I'm able to really ride that out. So you have to be aware of that. Oh, and another thing, if you don't work, you don't get paid. And I don't think there's like sick days or anything like that. If you guys know how to do that and be self-employed, please tell me. But if I'm not there, I'm not there. So that's the thing. And everything is on you. So it is what it is. If you fail, it's on you. If you succeed, it's on you.
So tell me about one pro and one con for teaching under someone else. So being employed by a school, for instance.
Okay, so I would suggest anybody who wants to be a private English teacher, you need to be employed by somebody first. Okay. So those of you who have my visa, you're already working for a university or a dispatch, that's perfect. You need at least 1 or 2 years under your belt to get the teaching experience. I had 8 years, so I could slide right on in. If you're just starting and you don't know how to teach, you don't know how to manage the kids, you don't know how to deal with parents, you're not going to be good at this job. Because this job is teaching and the management of getting the students and all. So it's like a double job, to be honest. I just realized that. It's like a double job.
Yeah, you're the employer and the employee.
Exactly. And my employer is a trip. So yeah, so it's all on you.
So tell me about also your heart for Africa, because I know that's close to your heart. I believe you're going to Rwanda soon.
Yes.
So tell us about how you fell in love with Africa.
Oh, well, I mean, I've been in love with Africa since I was a little girl. I think my parents are very pro-Black. I mean, pro-Black, which is great because they taught me that Africa is the best and some other things are the best. I'm not gonna say that here. So I've always had a very much respect for Africans and Africa. So it's always been ingrained in me from my parents. I want to thank them for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about your exploits in Africa a little bit.
Yeah.
What you're willing to divulge in terms of English teaching, because you said you teach English there as well.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't only teach English, I also teach business skills. So for example, guys, I'm very versatile, so I can teach children, adults, and professionals and businesses. So for example, I'm gonna be going to some schools there, and I'll be teaching the kids English, and I'll also be teaching their teachers how to be effective teachers. And then I'm going to go to universities, teach them how to get jobs overseas, teach them how to speak English. Also, I'm going to be going to some businesses so I can teach some business English skills as well. So that, I'm just really good at teaching different types of people. So
So there's one skill that I'm sure you've mastered based on how many things you do. How do you manage your time? Give us some tips, maybe 2 tips on time management.
That's funny. Well, I'm anally organized and I have OCD. Yeah, and I'm hyper. As you can see, I'm trying to keep it in right now because we're in an interview. But I'm super, super hyper, super energized, and I have OCD. So that's like a disaster waiting to happen. So you should have seen me when I was a little girl. But I want to plan my schedule out in the year. Actually, I plan my schedule out for 3 years, and then I work backwards. Yeah, and then I just make sure that I'm always on time. Anytime I'm supposed to be somewhere, I'm there an hour early. If it's Africa, I'm there 2 hours early because the roads, not in Rwanda, Rwanda's lovely, I love Rwanda, but in other African countries, you gotta leave and be there 2 hours early. So yeah, it's all about knowing when to get there and getting there on time and just knowing what you're supposed to do.
So being very organized and on time.
Anally organized and on time, yes. And I handwrite my schedule out because I like to feel my work, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. So so what drives you, right? Is there a philosophy that you live your life by?
Yes.
Tell me about that. What drives you?
Oh, okay. Well, my mother and I are writing a book. I actually need to edit it. Thank you for reminding me. It's called Less. And what drives me is my mother's philosophy. I absolutely adore this woman. She's like the smartest person I know. And her philosophy is less, and it's called languages, education, and sports. So my mother really, like, I've been in school since I was 2 years old.
Okay.
I've been in higher learning education since I was 16. And like, that's going on 20 years now. You know what I mean? So, and like, I wanted to do a second PhD, but my mom's like, no, but my dad's like, yeah, but. So anyways, education is so the L is for languages, but E is for education. So my mom really, really stresses education. Like, I'm gonna be a doctor. My sister's a nurse. My baby brother, he's 18. He just turned 18. He's going to university this year on a full ride. My mom is a genius at getting free education too. We're gonna make a course about that later on.
Okay, nice.
Yep. And then sports. So I like I've said it before, I was a semi-professional ex-sprinter and a long jumper. So I was able to really, because I'm aggressive, so I was able to take my aggression out on the track where it counts. I mean, people can do all this. I'm not about that. I'm about hitting that curve, you know, just catch me on the third leg. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? So it's all about like taking that philosophy and applying it to my life. And I thank my mother and my track coach as well, Coach Clay. He and I are, wait a minute, my track teammates, him and myself are writing a book about him really motivating us as well. So those two people really have motivated my life. And now what I've done, I'm taking her philosophy and applying it to my job and also globally. So I want to do what she did for me, but on a global scale.
Okay.
Yeah, which I'm able to do because I'm building that orphanage in Ghana. And when I go to Rwanda, I'm gonna try to sponsor a kid. I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out. So I just want to help people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If there was one thing that you could change in the world, what would it be?
Oh, well, okay. I want to see racist white supremacy replaced with a system of justice where Black people and other colored people, but Black people particularly, are not harmed because of the color of their skin.
One day.
Yes,
Right,
one day. One day.
We're doing what we can.
Yes.
I think everyone that's watching, you should do your part.
Yes.
Do something. In
That's
some
right.
way, shape, or form, you got to contribute. It's going to be a concerted effort.
Yes, that's true. We each have to do our part. That's what it is.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to Japan a little bit.
Sure.
I'm not sure if I want to go into the dating
No,
scene.
you can go. Go ahead.
I don't know if you want to go there because I think you said you had a book.
Yes,
You
I do have a book.
I should say.
I had a book that 2 guys didn't want to date me because I wrote about my experiences. Wow.
So tell us what you can.
Yeah. No, it's on Amazon.
Okay. So
Yeah,
tell us what you can about your experience dating in Japan.
Okay.
What's that like?
Well, I don't want to get too much into it. You guys can just read it because people like to. And I've had this experience my whole life. They like to take one thing I say and blow it completely out of proportion. That's why I write books, so you can read it and then attack me. You know, read what I got to say first, you know what I mean? But from what I've seen in Japan, and I explain this in the book, and I have all my text messages and emails from guys, it's in the appendix, so I'm not lying about this. But what I've seen is that, and I know people are gonna get mad at me, but whatever. There's 3 main groups of, maybe there's 4. So you have your single Black guy, and also I don't interracially date, so I'm speaking specifically about Black men.
Okay, so
all the
dating
Black men.
Black people within Japan.
In Japan, yeah.
Okay.
This is specific to Japan, and with me and the men that I have only interacted
So it's
with
your
only.
experience, yes.
My experience. This is not your experience, because people get so, it's a touchy subject, and I don't know why, it's my experience. Anyways, so I've noticed there's 4 groups. So the first group would be eligible Black men, all Blacks, they're eligible to date. But then you have your Black men who are needing a visa, right?
Okay.
And then you have your Black men who are married to Japanese women, but you know, they want some Black cookie, right?
Okay.
And then you have your Black men who were married to Japanese women, but now they're divorced and they got kids and they have debt. So those are the 4 groups that I've seen in Japan. In the book, I talk about 8 different experiences, and one of them was with a guy who was, I think he was group 3. And this guy, I swear to God, I was on a train, and I'm always dressed like a teacher because I want to present myself in a professional way. You know, I got my earphones in. He's like 50. He comes up to me. He's Nigerian. He's like, oh, what do you do? And I told him I was a teacher. And then, just to make a long story short, he said something like, oh, the Japanese women, we don't like them because they can't take our big, And I was just like, dude, I don't know you. Like, why are you telling me this? I said, so are you married? He's like, yes, I'm married, but I don't like my wife. And I'm like, but how long have you been married? 15 years. I was like, what? It was really, really
So you have experiences like
strange.
this all the time?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not so much anymore, but before, yes, I've had a lot.
So what changed? What changed?
I don't know. I just tried not, because I'm super friendly. I'm from Ohio. So we talk to literally everyone. So I think I've had to stop being so friendly, because I think some men take it as something else, but I'm just being nice. It doesn't mean I want you, you know? So I think I've had to kind of reel it in.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I actually have another story. One time I was in Hong Kong at a conference, and this black guy comes up to me with his Japanese wife, and like, she's so sweet. I really, really like her. He says to me, oh, I want you to meet my daughters. And I was like, why? And he's like, because you're black and I want you to teach them how to be black. And I was like, dude, first of all, your wife is here. Number two, if you wanted black children, why did you go with a non-black woman? Like, I don't understand that. So anyways, his wife like texted me the next day saying like, I'm really sorry, my husband shouldn't have said that to you. It's not your job to teach our children to be Black American. I was like, absolutely. So I have these experiences and I wrote about it in the book.
So a few things. I want you to tell me about your ambition, right? In terms of Japan. What is your ambition for life in Japan?
Oh, that's a good question. So my ambition is to open my cram school. I'll open multiple cram schools in Japan. And I'll do that as soon as I get my permanent residency, because you have to do that first before you can open up a business legally in Japan. So I want to open up my cram school, and then eventually I want to employ teachers here, and then I also want to employ teachers from Africa, teachers from America, because I'm a Pan-Africanist. So I believe in bringing blacks together.
Okay.
So that's my first goal. And my second goal, and also I want to go to Africa, so you guys can stay here and teach. I much as I love teaching, I want to do other stuff now. My second goal is because my dissertation is about Japanese students. Their PISA test scores in math and science has gone down. So I want to work with either the NEAR or the MEX, the MET, to see how I can help, or how we can help Japanese children's math and science skills increase. Because if it doesn't, Japan's not going to be able to compete in the IT industry in the future. So those are my two. Yeah, and the second one is because that's my research I'm doing right now.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. All right. So this is going to be going away from that a little bit.
Sure.
How about your hair?
Hair, yay!
So I know you told me just now you had 2 books about your hair.
Yes, 2
How
books.
do you take care of your hair in Japan?
Oh, very good question. So before I started doing this, like, I've done my own hair since I was 9. I'm very, very like independent. So normally I wear my hair in micro braids. Do you know?
I think I understand.
Okay,
but
so
maybe you
guys,
wanna explain.
I wear my hair in micro braids, but lately I've been wearing my hair. This is actually a wash and go. So a wash and go means literally you wash and you put some stuff in and you go. But what I determined, because I have 4C hair, which is the, naughty, this the naughtiest of hair. And I finally determined like what the ladies were showing me on YouTube, my hair was not doing. So I was like, okay, I said, it has to be some way for me to get my hair to curl. So I was like, okay, I said, I'm just gonna actually take some hair and curl it. And I was like, oh my God, it worked. So what I did, I actually made 2 hair books and 2 hair courses, and they're online. And also I have a webinar tomorrow, which you guys can see later, right? The link will be there later. But with my hair, this is actually a 14-day wash and go curl out. So what I do I'm just gonna make it real short. When I curl my hair out, I use defining cream, right? And then I use gel, shea butter, and olive oil and water. And I basically just curl it one time, and then at night I band it. So I'll take my hair and band it like all the way around. And then in the morning time, I pull it out. And normally I have to redo these curls because I want these to be fresh and these curls. Okay. But like, I absolutely love my hair. But when it gets a little bit like not as hot, then I'll do the 7-day wash and go curl out for looser curls. So these are tight little curls.
Okay. All right, nice. So tell me, what's a common misconception about Japan?
There are a lot. And I'm gonna talk more about like teaching, like what people say to me. So the first one is about teaching English in particularly. Like, I have a lot of people from third world countries, mostly Africans, but it can also be people from Pakistan, people from Iran, Dubai, Iraq, even people from Europe, but not like France, like more like Bosnia, Romania, Poland, like those type of whites in that area. So they'll say like, oh my God, I'm not a native English speaker. Can I get a job? And I said, of course you can. Like, why wouldn't you be able to teach English just because you're not a fluent English, native English speaker? So that's number one. You do not have to be a native English speaker to teach English here. Another one is that there's another one. Oh, people assume you cannot be self-employed in Japan, which obviously you can because I'm doing that legally. And another one, number three, people don't know, and I made a video about this on Monday. Do you know the JETRO? JETRO is Japanese External Trade Relations Organization. I went there on Monday to do some research because I want to import some goods from Africa. You don't need a visa, a special visa to import into Japan, and you don't need a license either. So we all can import things into Japan and make additional funds that way. So there's a lot of misconceptions that people are putting on the Japanese, but they're not the ones saying it. I think people are inventing these things in their head.
What's the process of writing, or how does someone become a published writer or author?
It's super easy, guys. Like, okay, see, this is the thing about writing. So I'm going to talk about my dissertation.
Okay.
When you write anything, I really feel that you don't really own what it is you're writing. Whatever you're writing comes through you. Okay. Because like when I was doing my dissertation, I thought the way that my research would go this way. Dude, it went like that way and then that way. Mm-hmm. So you never really own what it is you're writing. It owns you. Okay. So what I'm saying is that people think they're gonna write introduction, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wrong. You might start with the outro. You might do chapter 2, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 1. You know, you're not going to write in order. Mm-hmm. So the best thing I would say is to get an outline, a piece of paper and write, introduction and then chapter 1 to whatever, and then your outro and then your appendix and reference page. And just write down a few words about what you want to write, mm-hmm. right? And then I don't really type my books, I speak my books. So you want to get a dictation, you dictate, and then you copy and paste it onto a Google Doc. So I use a lot of Google Docs, well, only Google Docs, to write my books, and then I'll download them into Microsoft Word. So once you dictate, you have your books, you need to hire an editor. I have a very good one on Upwork or Fiverr, if you like Fiverr. After that, you need a designer, which you can also hire on Fiverr. To design your book cover, and then you need to copyright. So you can go to the U.S. Congress Library. I just paid them $55 to copyright my 2 books, the 2 hair books. After that, you can upload to Amazon Kindle and publish that way. But however, there's one catch. These books here, these are published by Ingram Spark. Okay. The reason I did not use Kindle or Amazon is because you need an ISBN number, which costs $100 a pop. I write way too many books, and I don't have it like that quite yet, where I can just spend $100 every time I write a book. So I use Ingram Spark, and I have a non-distributable ISBN number. So they don't tell you that when you're trying to publish until you try to go and publish, and they're like, oh, what's your ISBN number? And I'm like, what? And they're like, no, you need an ISBN number to publish on Amazon. So Ingram Spark is really great for that. Mm-hmm. And then once you self-publish with Ingram Spark, you order the books. I think I paid like $1 or so for this, and you order them, and then you can sell them out yourself.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So nice.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, that was a lot.
No. It's good. It's good information, right?
Yeah.
How is your Japanese?
Oh, I'm conversational.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that if this is so bad. My Chinese, I think, like, I have more interest in learning Chinese. I always had since I was in high school than learning Japanese. But I don't know. I feel like if Japan was like spoken more widely, maybe I would be even more into it. I do like Japanese, but I'm more into Chinese.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Understood. It's about practicality, I guess, in terms of the language. It's like I can use this here, there.
Yeah, even though we live here, but it's like of course I need to speak English, but when not English, Japanese, but when I'm in meetings, I have a translator because I'm a teacher and I want to observe body language. I'm very good at reading that because I've been here so long. So you can read their body language to know what's going on. Just let the interpreter do that. That's not your business to be translating stuff back and forth unless you are a translator, which I am not. So yeah.
So any advice for people who are looking to come here to whether it's study, work, travel?
Yes.
Advice.
The best thing I can say is that you need to have your why. Why do you want to come to Japan? If you're coming here because you like sushi and natto and anime, you're gonna leave in 3 months. You need something concrete. Like for me, I'm here because I like, I love Japan. I like the money, and I like the fact that I'm able to travel to Africa. So you need an anchor. Like, what is your real reason for coming? If you're just coming here for girls, I mean, you're probably gonna leave pretty soon as well. You need something real. So once you find out your why, you have your anchor, then I think you have a better chance at staying here. Because it's not about getting here, it's about staying. Can you handle it? Because a lot of people cannot.
What are some of the common issues that you think people have why they leave soon or quick?
Because they don't know what Japan is. Like a lot of people.
Because usually I think people come and stay longer. That, from what I've heard, is it more common for people to leave after a few months versus staying here?
It depends case to case, but eventually I know a lot of people do leave.
Okay.
Like I don't know many people who, unless they're like older black men who have stayed as long as I'm sure some people have. I've been here almost 12 years, but a lot of people hit a certain point, they're like, I'm out.
What's one thing that Japan does really well that the world can learn from?
Oh, one thing I love about Japan is that their motto is Japan first, Japanese people first. And I love that. And the reason why I love it is because it's honest. It lets me know as a person who's not Japanese where I stand. And I stand on the outside, which is fine. I'm a guest. I love my guest status. That's it. Yep. I absolutely love. And not only that, because the Japanese are like Japan first, like there are some suspected white supremacists in Japan. Not a lot, but I mean like some of my coworkers. And I have to tell them, dude, your white supremacy crap doesn't work here. This is a rich Asian country. This is not a poor Asian country. Your weight means absolutely nothing here. We're on equal playing fields because we're both Americans.
Okay.
So that's another reason why I like, because I feel like I don't deal with white supremacy in this country at all. And I really, that's one of the reasons why I want to stay, because I don't have to deal with white supremacy. So
okay.
There you go.
All right, so another question I have for you before we close is, you've been here for a while.
Yes.
Tell me about a place in Japan that's your favorite place to go. Like whether it's a prefecture, a city, a spot.
Yes, my favorite place is Shizuoka, Ken.
Okay.
So we're in Tokyo. Shizuoka's like southern Japan. And the reason why I love it, because number one, I lived in Numazu. And Numazu, I absolutely love Numazu. I love the himono. Himono is dried fish. They have a lot of seafood there. And I love it because the city was very similar to my city. It's about 200,000 people. It was very, very convenient. I love Numazu. And Shizuoka Prefecture, I love because they have the most beautiful tea hills.
Okay.
Yeah, and driving through there through autumn is just lovely. I really, really love it.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share that I haven't touched on?
I just think, like, for me, I always want to encourage all Blacks to, up their game up, especially Black Americans. Like, I just feel that we kind of stay in our country where we're discriminated against in our own country. We build a wilderness up for everybody else to come over. I'm not going to get into that right now. And I feel like we're getting discriminated in our own country, like we're foreigners, and we're not. So I really want Black Americans to know there's a place for you. There's a place in Rwanda, I'm there. A place in Ghana, I'm there too. There's a place in Japan, so you should come over and let's build together.
Where can people find you online?
Oh, they can find me on Instagram at Private Lessons with an S Japan. Private Lessons Japan.
Okay, and links will also be in the description down below, right?
Yes, that's
other
correct.
Stuff as well.
Yep.
So guys, there you have it. Thank you so much again for listening. Champayne, thank you so much for having us.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
So again, guys, remember to like this video if you liked it and subscribe to this channel for weekly videos on the Black experience across the globe. Until next time, bye for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to share your story or have us visit your region, send us a message on any of our social media platforms or via our website.
That's good.